Cold-driven rivets range from A 6 to 10 mm in diameter, B 10 to 16 mm in diameter, C 12 to 22 mm in diameter, D 22 to 32 mm in diameter. The correct answer is 12 to 22 mm in diameter. The main type of butt joints is a double cover. A shear riveted joint, B chain riveted joint, C zigzag riveted joint, D all the above. The correct answer is all the above. Outstanding length of a compression member consisting of a channel is measured as A half of the nominal width, B nominal width of the section, C from the edge to the first row of rivets, D none of these. The correct answer is nominal width of the section. The equivalent axial load may be defined as the load which produces a stress equal to A maximum stress produced by the eccentric load, B maximum stressed fiber, C bending stress, D none of these. The correct answer is maximum stress produced by the eccentric load. If D is the distance between the flange angles of a plate girder, vertical stiffeners are provided at a distance not greater than A d but not less than 0.20 d, B 1.25 d but not less than 0.33 d, C 1.5 d but not less than 0.33 d, D 2.0 d but not less than 0.50 d. The correct answer is 1.5 d but not less than 0.33 d. The beam outside a wall up to floor level above it is known as A rafter, B purlin, C spandrel beam, D lintel. The correct answer is spandrel beam. A structural member subjected to tensile force in a direction parallel to its longitudinal axis is generally known as A tie, B a tie member, C a tension member, D all the above. The correct answer is all the above. For the economical design of a combined footing to support two equal column loads, the projections of beams in lower tier are kept such that bending moment under column is equal to A bending moment at the center of the beam, B half the bending moment at the center of the beam, C twice the bending moment at the center of the beam, D none of these. The correct answer is bending moment at the center of the beam. In rolled steel beams, shear force is mostly resisted by A web only, B flanges only, C web and flanges together, D none of these. The correct answer is web only. When plates are exposed to weather, tacking rivets are provided at a pitch in line not exceeding where T is the thickness of the outside plate. A 8T, B 16T, C 24T, D 32T. The correct answer is 16T. The greatest gauge of long rivets should not exceed where D is the diameter of the holes. A 2D, B 4D, C 6D, D 8D. The correct answer is 8D. When the depth of a plate girder is at least n times the depth of vertical leg of the flange angles, the girder is known as deep plate girder if n is A2, B4, C6, D8. The correct answer is 8. Stiffeners are used in a plate girder. A to reduce the compressive stress, B to reduce the shear stress, C to take the bearing stress, D to avoid buckling of web plate. The correct answer is to avoid buckling of web plate. The channels get twisted symmetrically with regard to its axis. A parallel to flanges, B parallel to web, C perpendicular to flanges, D perpendicular to web. The correct answer is parallel to web. The stiff portion of a bearing stiffener is taken equal to A. Depth of the beam, B. Depth of the beam, C. Depth of the beam, D. Depth of the beam. The correct answer is depth of the beam. Effective length of a column effectively held in position at both ends and restrained in direction at one end is A. L, B. 0.67 L, C. 0.85 L, D. 1.5 L. The correct answer is 0.85 L. The strength of ISA 125/75 by 10 mm used as a tie member with its longer leg connected at the ends by 27 mm diameter rivets is A. 26000 kg, B. 26025 kg, C. 26050 kg, D. 26075 kg. The correct answer is 26075 kg. The gross section of the web of a beam is defined as A. Depth of the beam multiplied by its web thickness, B. Width of the flange multiplied by its web thickness, C. Sum of the flange width and depth of the beam multiplied by the web thickness, D. None of these. The correct answer is depth of the beam multiplied by its web thickness. For simply supported beams, the maximum permitted deflection is A. 1/325 of the span, B. 1/350 of the span, C. 1/375 of the span, D. 1/400 of the span. The correct answer is 1/325 of the span. In a truss girder of a bridge, a diagonal consists of mild steel flat 4001.S.F and carries a pull of 80 tons. If the gross diameter of the rivet is 26 mm, the number of rivets required in the splice is A. 6, B. 7, C. 8, D. 9. The correct answer is 8. Pick up the correct statement from the following. Other steel beams placed in plain cement concrete are known as reinforced beams. B. The filler joists are generally continuous over 3 supports only. C. Continuous fillers are connected to main beams by means of cleat angles. D. Continuous fillers are supported by main steel beams. The correct answer is continuous fillers are supported by main steel beams. The value of f.o.sm in the formula for safe compressive stress for a column is taken as A. 1.5, B. 1.6, C. 1.68, D. 1.88. The correct answer is 1.68. Maximum permissible slenderness ratio of compression members which carry dead and superimposed load is A. 350, B. 250, C. 180, D. 80. The correct answer is 180. If the area of cross-section of a single-angled discontinuous strut is 30 cm to an allowable working stress corresponding to its slenderness ratio is 625 kg cm2, the safe load carrying capacity of the member is A. 10 tons, B. 12 tons, C. 15 tons, D. 18 tons. The correct answer is 15 tons. According to IS 800-1871, lacing bars resist transverse shear equal to A. 1.0 of the axial load, B. 2.0 of the axial load, C. 2.5 of the axial load, D. 3.0 of the axial load. The correct answer is 2.5 of the axial load. As per ISI, rolled steel beam sections are classified into A2 series, B3 series, C4 series, D5 series. The correct answer is 5 series. Water pressure in a 80 cm water main is 10 kg cm2. The minimum thickness of the metal required for the water main not to be stressed more than 200 kg cm2 is A 1 cm, B 1.5 cm, C 2 cm, D 2.5 cm. The correct answer is 2 cm. In a tension member, if one or more than one rivet holes are off the line, the failure of the member depends upon A. Pitch, B. Gauge, C. Diameter of the rivet holes, D. all the above. The correct answer is all the above. The size of a butt weld is specified by the effective throat thickness, which in the case of incomplete penetration is taken as A of the thickness of thicker part, B of the thickness of thicker part, C of the thickness of thinner part, D of the thickness of thinner part. The correct answer is of the thickness of thinner part. The thickness of the web of a mild steel plate girder is less than D200. If only one horizontal stiffener is used, it is placed at A. the neutral axis of the section, B 2/3 of the depth of the neutral axis from the compression flange, C 2/5 of the depth of the neutral axis from the compression flange, D 2/5 of the height of the neutral axis from tension flange. The correct answer is 2/5 of the depth of the neutral axis from the compression flange. The load on a lintel is assumed as uniformly distributed if the height of the masonry above it is up to a height of A. the effective span, B 1.25 times the effective span, C 1.50 times the effective span, D 2.0 times the effective span. The correct answer is 1.25 times the effective span. Working shear stress on the gross area of a rivet as recommended by Indian standards is A 785 kg cm2, B 1025 kg cm2, C 2360 kg cm2, D none of these. The correct answer is 1025 kg cm2. The deflection of beams may be decreased by A. increasing the depth of beam, B. increasing the span, C. decreasing the depth of beam, D. increasing the width of beam. The correct answer is increasing the depth of beam. For a cantilever beam of length L built in at the support and restrained against torsion at the free end, the effective projecting length L is A. L 0.7 L, B. L 0.75 L, C. L 0.85 L, D. L 0.5 L. The correct answer is L 0.75 L. In a built-up section carrying a tensile force, the flanges of two channels are turned outward. A. to simplify the transverse connections, B. to minimize lacing, C. to have greater lateral rigidity, D. all the above. The correct answer is to have greater lateral rigidity. If P is the wind pressure in kg/cm2, V is the velocity in km/h, and K is a constant of proportionality, then A pkv2, B vkp2, C pkv2, D pkv. The correct answer is pkv2. Length of an outstanding leg of a vertical stiffener may be taken equal to A. at of clear depth of the girder plus 15 mm, B. at of clear depth of the girder plus 20 mm, C. at of clear depth of the girder plus 25 mm, D. at of clear depth of the girder plus 50 mm. The correct answer is at of clear depth of the girder plus 25 mm. Efficiency of a riveted joint is defined as the ratio of A. least strength of a riveted joint to the strength of solid plate, B. Greatest strength of a riveted joint to the strength of solid plate. C. Least strength of a riveted plate to the greatest strength of the riveted joint. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above. The stress in the wall of a thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure is A. Hoop compression, B. Shear, C. Torsional shear, D. Hoop tension. The correct answer is hoop tension. The diameter of a bolt hole is taken as the nominal diameter of the bolt plus A. 1.0 mm, B. 1.2 mm, C. 1.4 mm, D. 1.6 mm. The correct answer is 1.6 mm. Pick up the correct statement from the following. A. Tacking rivets are used if the minimum distance between centers of two adjacent rivets exceeds 12 t or 200 mm, whichever is less. B. Tacking rivets are not considered to calculate stress. C. Tacking rivets are provided throughout the length of a compression member composed of two components back to back. D. All the above. The correct answer is all the above.